Okay, so we are learning our subject Python for data science 3150713, and in that we are learning NumPy, right, which is part of the module 2 and module 3. So yesterday we have seen how to create the zeros and ones, right? Then we have seen how to create the identity matrix also using I, then using identity, right? Even using the empty, we have created that. We have seen the field value. In that is if we want to provide say diagonally any particular value, and this one also we have seen that is full. The whole matrix we want to fill with a particular value, so we can use the full, right? For INF, we can use the np.inf. This is what we have seen yesterday. Arrange, that also we have seen. That is useful for creating the integer array, isn't it? You can say evenly spaced values, but that is for the integer values. If we want to have the same for the floating point, then we are not using the arrange, but we are using the linspace, right? This is what we have seen yesterday. Now, let us see the next, that is numpy.ravel a, comma, order is equal to C. Order is equal to C is C style row major, right? It returns a contiguous flattened array. Let us see that we are having xx is equal to np.array, and this list is given to us, right? Now if I run this, will it run for us? No, it will not. First of all, we have to include the import numpy as np, right? Why? Because that we have run yesterday. Just now we have opened this ipynb file, and in that the effect of numpy array in this column existence, this Jupyter notebook existence is not there, right? So what we have to do is, first of all, we need to write import numpy as np, right? Then we can say we'll be able to use it. Fine. So let me run this. What it does, we were having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numpy array. It was this way, right? And when we do the ravel, it is flattening that, isn't it? We can see that many a times we need to have such thing also. That is, whatever are the elements, we want to have them as a flattened array. Then we want to apply something. Okay, so that we can use this way. Transpose is the method which will give us the transpose of the array. So for that, we can say, first of all, we are printing x, whatever is already there. Then we'll do the transpose. For that, we can have x dot p, or otherwise we are having the method that is x dot transpose. Whatever you want, you can take that. Said run. What happened? What was the array name there? Oh, it was xx, right? It was xx. So x is not there in effect. We can have this here, or otherwise whatever x values we have taken yesterday, that also we can take. And if you do not want that, then we can have it here. Where is that x available? It was this, right? You can take whatever is required. We have that as transpose array. Fine. Let me put it here. X is equal to, say, 1, 2, 3, comma, 4, 5, 6, comma, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, what happened? List object has no attribute t. So in this particular version, it is not just a second. What's the problem? Oh, we should have NP array, isn't it? NP array. Yeah. This two will run. This is the original array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then after the transpose one, 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 3, 6, 9. Right? Or otherwise, if we read like column, then we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? This is x dot t and this is x dot transpose. Right? So it is fine. Then NumPy aggregate functions. For aggregate functions, we can say they are sum, mean, max, mean. This is minimum, isn't it? This mean is average. Average, product, median, standard deviation, variance, argmean, argmax, percentile, term production, term sum, and what is that? Correlation coefficient, right? This you may have studied in your maths. And if not, then too, we want to have that. So we are going to use it, right? So if we want to find the sum of all elements, we'll be using this. Sum of all elements. Now our array is different. Our matrix is different, right? For which I have run this. That was the older one which we have seen yesterday, right? So just now we have changed X. So the answer is 45. You can do the summation of all elements, you will get it, right? Then this is the minimum. What is the minimum value? It is 1, isn't it? 1 to 9 numbers we have taken. So this is the minimum. Then now what is that? Rows are called x's is equal to 1. And columns are called the x is equal to 0. Right? So this is what we should keep in mind. Because for many functions, for many other topics also, we'll be having this. That is x is equal to 1, x is equal to 0. Right? So row major, isn't it? So see, many times you also, me also forget that a row was 1 or a column was 1, right? So better to remember it as, say, row. And we are having row major. So it is 1, right? Do not consider 0. Just remember rows, that means x is equal to 1, right? So it will be beneficial to us. Now, print x. First of all, we are printing x. See, I am giving you the habit that is for any operation. First of all, you should print the original value, whether it is matrix or whether it is any array. But first of all, you should print that, then do the operation, then print the result. So we'll be having the idea that what was the original and what is after the operation. Right? And this is the way you should show your program to your examiners. Okay? That is always the case. Because see, if you have assigned a value in the starting of your program, and then after say you have run so many cells and you are coming to a particular point, people do not remember what value your x or y contains, right? So better to go this way, right? So take care of that. Now what do we want is maximum along with the column. So x is equal to 0, isn't it? And for max along with the rows, we'll be providing x is equal to 1, right? So we'll run this. Scroll up, right? Do not forget that. So maximum along the column, what is that? 7, 8, 9, right? And what about the rows? It is 3, 6, 9. Okay? Fine? You can say this is a column. How can you say it is row? See, maximum along this row, 3. Maximum along this row, 6. Maximum along this row is 9. Right? So that is the answer. 3, 6, and 9. Right? Maximum in that particular row, whatever is that, that it has taken. Fine. Okay. So the okay. Now we want to find the mean. Whatever is maximum, it is going to consider. Right? It is not going to consider whether it is in first column, second column, or third column. Right? So you can apply that, try it, and then come. Right? It is maximum, so maximum only is going to consider, irrespective of its position. Right? Okay. So this is the mean. Mean value is that average, right? For this data, we are having mean and average same. For other, can it be different? Now we want to find the product. So what we want is separating tax. Then we are having the product with itself. This is whole matrix I am giving. Product of all elements of array. Then after what I am doing is np dot product x comma xs is equal to 0. That means column wise. Okay. And here I am providing x is equal to 1. So row wise. Right? So this is what we have given. Now, what does that mean? See the result, we can understand it. Right? Where is it gone? Scroll. Okay. Right? Now here, what is that? np dot product x. Right? So each and every element is multiplied and sum. Right? Okay. What about this? This is for x is equal to 0. So column wise. What is this? For row wise. Right? See, I'm not going to show you that multiplication. You can try it yourself with pen and paper. You can understand. Okay. Otherwise, our lecture will be finished with that only. Isn't it? We are not interested in finding the matrix multiplication. We are interested in knowing the NumPy functions. Okay. So our aim is different. Median. What is median is known to you? Middle value, right? Median is middle value. If odd number of data is there, then the middle value. And if it is even number of data, then average of middle two values. Right? Okay. So that is known to you. Median. Then after standard deviation. So that is STD of X, right? NP is important. Okay. NP dot something. Without that, it will not work. So now for variance, we can say NP dot VAR of X. Variance. Right? Then argmean returns the indices of the minimum values along the axis. Minimum value along the axis, right? Print x and np dot argmean of x. Let me run this. What it says, minimum value we want to find, right? Minimum value we want to find, and what it returns is 0 is minimum. So wrong value it is giving, isn't it? No, it is not giving wrong value. It is returning the index, right? Right? It is not giving us the minimum value. If you want to use the minimum value, you can use np dot mean. This is the indices it is giving us, right? So that is what is 0. Then for maximum, it is 8. Oh, again wrong. No, it is right, isn't it? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Okay. Let us proceed. Percentile. 20 percentile. It is not percentage, okay? It is not percentage, it is percentile. Okay. Then after come probe. And what we are giving, that is axis is equal to 0. Column, come probe. 1, 2, 3. First row. For second, what is that? 4, then 10, then 18. What is this? 1 into 4, 2 into 5, 3 into 6. Right? Okay. Row wise multiplication. Fine. Means 1 by 1 values are getting multiplied. Come probe means cumulative production. Right? Come sum means cumulative summation. Right? Okay. What about this one? 1 into 4 into 7. 2 into 5 into 8. Right? This is what we are getting. Then come sum. So what will be having? 1, 2, 3. Then 5, 7, 9. That is 1 plus 4, 2 plus 5 and 3 plus 6. Right? So that way the third one will be, you can say 1 plus 4 plus 7, 2 plus 5 plus 8 and 3 plus 6 plus 9. Right? This is what is required when we are having the data set. It is being asked that find the cumulative frequency of a particular thing. So at that time we need to have this. Okay. Come sum, come prod. Whenever it is required, it will be used. Then we can say correlation coefficient. Different types of correlation coefficient are there. They are typically useful for finding the relation between two particular columns or two particular variables, we can say, whether they are both increasing or both decreasing or they do not have any relation. Fine. So for that, correlation coefficient is being used, and in a particular application we'll be using it. Just now we see that how to find. That is with this simple function, that is correlation coefficient. See all the theory, that is what are the correlation coefficient, then the way I told you that the relation, positive or negative or no relation, all this theory that you will be learning in your next subject, that will be data mining. Okay, so there you can use this file. And it is preferred that after learning this subject, you should choose the data mining, and after that you should choose the machine learning. It is there in the sequence, right? If somebody comes directly to the data mining, it will be difficult. If you are directly coming to machine learning, that will be difficult, right? You can take that if you already know the Python and data science. So if somebody is not taking this subject, but still, if they learn themselves and then come to machine learning, then it is fine. But at least you should have the knowledge of this subject, then only you can go to data mining and machine learning. In machine learning, other tools are also there, but the way our syllabus is there, in that Python is mandatory. Fine? So better to go that way. Now, square root we want to find. So SQRT is the function, right? SQRT is the function for each and every data element. We are finding the square. Now, spatial functions we want to use. They are the trigonometric functions, right? And what we say is trigonometric functions accept parameter in radian. Okay. So now, say sine, we want to find sine pi by 2 is 1, isn't it? So for that, np dot sine. Now we want to provide pi by 2. So pi is available in np. That is np dot pi, right? So we can use it as np dot pi divided by 2. Fine. Then for tan, for cos, say for hyperbolic tan, you can provide the value. As we know that whatever value we are specifying here, that is there in radian, right? That is there in radian. So what will be the case? If I am giving, say, cos 90, cos 90 is 0, isn't it? Cos 90 is 0. But when I am giving it as cos 90 here, what it gives me? Cos 90. Either. Here. Is it 0? It is not. Why? Because we have provided 90, but it is not degree. It is there in radian. Right? For radian, we can say it is pi by 2. Got the point? So this is the value in radian. So we can provide that and we can see the values accordingly. Right? We can see the values accordingly. Here are the values. Right? You can see it yourself. It is only giving us the values for whatever are the trigonometric functions. Right? Value we should not verify, isn't it? That is proper. Yeah, but the thing is, it should be there in radian. If I am giving cos 90, do not consider it as degree. Right? So that should be there in your mind. That is why I have specifically written there cos 90. So people will think, oh, cos 90 is 0. Okay. It is not 0 because it is in radian. Fine. Okay. So now what we are doing is numpy. From that we are importing pi. As we have imported pi, now I can use pi directly. In the previous example, we have used it as np dot pi. Because here we have only imported numpy as np. Isn't it? So there we can have that. But now what we are doing is we are using import numpy. Numpy? No. We are saying from numpy import pi. Right? Whatever we want to import, that should come at last. Right? Whether it is function, whether it is a particular variable or anything, whether it is a class, no issue. But from a particular library, we want to import something. Right? So it is from numpy import this. So after that, we can use that function or variable or whatsoever directly. Right? Okay. So from numpy import pi. Now say np dot linspace. Why this is useful? What for? Evenly spaced, right? Evenly spaced random numbers. Random numbers? No. Start and stop we are always providing, isn't it? So for that we are using the linspace. So 0 to 2 pi and we want to have 100 such parts, right? And then after what we are doing is f is equal to np dot sign of x. And we are printing. So here is our values, right? Here are the values that you can see right yourself, right? Okay. See numpy array operations. So import numpy is n, right? Okay. X is equal to np dot array. So we are having some values, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? This is the value which is being assigned to X. You can take any value. This is the example. We are printing the 2D array, right? After that, what do we want? We want to do the operations. But first of all, we should run this so that our X will be there in effect, right? X value we have already seen. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we have changed that value, right? So we should run this. Then only this value will be there in effect, right? Okay. So this is the value. Now after slicing, we want to know the slicing. We know slicing. In list we have seen, right? Right? In string also we have seen. In all the data types we have seen that. Isn't it? Okay. So how it is available here. Slice a range of values from two-dimensional NumPy arrays. You can also use a range for the row index and or column index to slice multiple elements. How? Using start row index, colon, row and row index, then comma, start column index, colon and column index, right? This is for row index, this is for column index, right? So that we can use. So we can use it as this one, say 0 colon 1, 0 colon 2, right? This way. If it is this way, then what is the meaning of it? To select the element in first row. This is for row. This is for first row. Should we consider the second row? One is second row. Should we consider that? No, because n minus 1, isn't it? N minus 1 is that. So this is for first row and this is for first two columns. Why first two? Because it will consider 0 and 1. 2 will be excluded, isn't it? 2 will be excluded. So 0 and 1. So we'll be having the elements. They are from first row and first two columns. Clear? Right? Okay. Now, let us take the example. Print x, right? Then after x of 1. That means what? Only row 1. Fine. Next I am giving it as 1, 1. What does that mean? Row 1 and column 1. You can see here colon and other value is not given. Fine, no issue. Right? If it is not specified, then it will consider all the columns. Right? It will consider all the columns. Right? All the means here for row 1. All the columns. Right? So whole row 1. Right? Then what we can say, here it is. This is our original array. What is this? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is our row 1. Right? After that, what is that? Subset. That is only 7. Why 7? Row 1 column. Right? Okay. Slicing operation. You can say 0 colon 1. What should be there? 0 3. Right? 0 3. First row, instead of that, it is easier to say 0 3. Right? So it will be easier for us to understand. What about this? Nothing is being specified for row, right? Nothing is being specified for row, but for column 1, it is being specified. Sure. For column, it is being specified? No. If comma is there, after that something is given, then it is specified for column. Otherwise, no. So here, when it is given colon 1, it means that starting index is not specified for row, but end index is specified for row, and that is 1. So minus 1 we should consider. So we'll consider row 0. Right? Nothing is given for the column. Right? Nothing is given for the column. So first row, or you can say row number 0. Right? Fine. Oh. Where? Here it is. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not get confused. It is scrolling down and then we have to go up. Okay, so do not get confused. Go to proper output and see that. Otherwise, you will think, oh, I thought this, it is giving this output. No, it is not so. Right? Now, if it is 0 colon 5, comma 11, comma 1. Now, what should be there? See, exactly. Comma is given. So, Index is specified for row and column both, right? Now for row, 0, column 5. So 0 to 4. And what about column? It is 1, right? Okay, so you can understand that now. Fine. So what it will consider that column 1 from each row, right? But only 0 to 2 are available. Whatever is available from that only it can take, isn't it? We have specified 5 rows, but do we have 5 rows available? Only 3 are there, isn't it? So that only it will consider. You are specifying 1000. So will it consider 1000? We do not have that, right? It will not give you error. Index out of bound. Like for rows and columns, we are specifying in slicing, it will not give us error. Whatever is there, all it will consider. Fine? If you remember for slicing in list or string or anything, there also we were taking this way, isn't it? If we do not have that particular index available, then it doesn't matter because we are specifying slice, there we are specifying big number. That much element is not there in that particular list. So will it give error? No, it will not give error. Right? It will consider all the elements. Right? Recall the concept of our slicing with respect to our data in Python. Same we can apply here. Right? It's easy, not difficult. So now x, yeah, this we have seen, right? This one, x of 1, comma 2 colon 3. For row 1, for column 2 to 3, only 2, right? Only 2, right? Okay. So you have the idea. You can check it out. Same way, one more example. 1, comma 0, colon 2. 1 row and 0 and 1 column, right? Understood. Okay. Sufficient examples are taken. Still, say both the way it is being specified. 0 to 2, 0 to 2 for row and column. Now, 0 and 1, 0 and 1 for both row and column. Okay, fine. So that you can consider Boolean indexing. Till now we have seen only numeric indexing. Now we want to see for the Boolean indexing, select elements from X less than 2. Boolean. Let me show you. Here it is that print X, original X. We are saying print X of X is less than 2. This way also we can provide this slicing, right? Or you can say not slicing, then we can say it is Boolean index, right? We are habitual of using, say, X of something. Then we consider it as index, isn't it? So this is called the Boolean index, right? Here no slicing is there. Slicing is there only when we consider what? 0 to something, right? That is numeric range we are specifying. There we consider it as the slicing, right? Numbers are there. This is Boolean index, right? So we'll not say it as slicing. It is Boolean index, right? Okay. So x, where x is less than 2, right? So where x is less than 2, only for 1. Only for the element value 1, it is less than 2, isn't it? So that will be given as the answer. Here, this is our whole matrix where we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 50. Now in this, what is the value which is less than 2? Only 1. So that's what it has given as the value, right? Now if I do, instead of this, if I change it to say 10. What we are getting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Okay. Now concatenate. We want to concatenate two arrays. Which arrays? NP arrays, NumPy arrays. Okay. So concatenate A1, A2. We can specify the axis. Join a sequence of arrays along an existing axis. Okay. Now let's see. Import NumPy as NP. A is equal to NP dot array 1, 2, 3, 4. Now B is equal to NP dot array 5, 6. NP dot concatenate A and B, axis is equal to 0. Right? Axis is equal to 0. Now what I'll be doing? Have I printed? No, I haven't printed. Right? Let me print that so you can have the idea. Print A. We can print this way also. Means exactly if I want to see the values, I can print this way. Print A, then print B. Put the backslash and otherwise it will be printed this way. Isn't it? Yesterday we have seen that. So here B is that. And then after we'll be having the concatenate. If you want to store the result of this, you can have that, say here, and then after we can print. Otherwise, it will be printed directly. So this is A. Either. A is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then B is 5, 6. Right? 5, 6. Now what we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, for concatenate, what we are doing is A, comma, B transpose. Then, what is the case? We'll be having 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 6. Okay. And P dot concatenate, axis is equal to none. So what it does? 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 6. Simple concatenate, we are not specifying any axis. Then, now NumPy dot split. We want to split array. Indices for sections and axis is equal to 0 by default. Split an array into multiple subarrays as views into array. That is ARY, right? Let's see. See, I'm showing you this function so you can have the idea that what are the parameters. But still, you may not understand from the parameters list. If you see the example, it will be clear with you that what are the parameters we are specifying and what output we are getting. Fine. So both the way I have put it here for you. X, then after NP dot split A 1, 3. What is that? Indices or sections, and axis is equal to 0. Now let us see the output. We can understand from that. What is our X? What is our X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is our original. Now what we are doing is A, comma, what is that? एक second. A array is that. Let me have that. Let me first print this one. The array is A, isn't it? The array is A, not X. Typically, we used to use the X, so by mistake, I have written that. Now, NP dot split A and 1, 3. What is that? Indices or sections. Now, we want to understand this, isn't it? how it is giving us sections. It is giving us sections 1, 2, then 3, 4, then you can say empty, right? This way it is giving us S is equal to, shape is equal to 0 to 2, shape is equal to 0 to 2, D type is equal to integer 64, right? So what we are doing is 1, 3. We are specifying indices as 1, 3. Do we have a 1, 3 available? One is that indices or sections, right? We are having 2 sections available, not 3, because it is not having that many elements. It does not have that many elements available, isn't it? So we are having only 2, and the type is integer 64 only. You can try for many other examples. This is at split, numpy.split, that is split an array into multiple subarrays horizontally, column wise, right? At split is equivalent to x is equal to 1. Now here we can specify what is our A. You can say it is 1, then 3, then 2, then 4, right? This is for V split. So you can see that for V split, then we can say V stack. That is, the function is used to stack arrays in sequence vertically, row wise. We have that. Say we are having X. Here will it work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let us see what is X. X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 15. Now what we are doing is we are specifying 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for V stack. So what it will do is it will add that as the next row. Vertically it will add, right? This is add stack. So horizontally it will add. This is say np.array 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Now we want to add horizontally. Let's see that. How we are having. First is 990 and second is 880. So here we were having 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Here it is putting 990 and 880 horizontal. Fine. See, just now you may feel like why are we doing all these things? But for typical operations, it will be useful to us. For particular applications, it will be useful to us, right? First of all, we should learn what are the functions available, then we can apply for those applications. And how will you apply that? That is, you can say you are already using your data, right? CSV file. So you will be reading that. You will be having your data frame available. That is, you can say that column one with particular variable. And after you will be able to use it, I mean, particular column with a particular index. That is column name. You will be able to use that for data when you want to apply something. At that time, this will be needed. Right? For many array operations, or you can say many algorithms, like you can say PCA is known to you, principal component analysis. No, LUX you are doing lower and upper matrix multiplication. No idea? Okay, no issue. For few algorithms, some matrix operations are required, and then you need to have addition, like you can say that V stack, that is vertically you want to add a row, horizontally you want to add some elements. That is what is required for particular algorithm, right? So whenever it is needed, we'll use it. But for this subject, it will be asked to you that if you want to add, say, a row vertically, how you can do that. So you can use the V stack. For horizontally, if you want to add elements, How will you do that? So you can use that step, right? So you have to use such thing for our subject. Here we are not going to learn any particular algorithm. So I cannot specify that algorithm and you do not know that particular algorithm also. Fine. If I teach you that, then you cannot learn this, isn't it? So it will be the mix of two subjects. That is not possible. Okay. Now what do we want is numpy dot insert array object values, insert values along the given axis before the given indices, before the given indices. See, insert. If you consider for list also, what do we say when we are using insert? At that time, if I specifying the index as 0, then at index 0, it will put this particular value and shift it. Isn't it? Fine. So this is what we are considering here also. Fine. Let's see the example. You can try that and understand. Print X. So it is here we should run. Okay. What is that? X is 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Now what we are doing is instead of 5, 6, let me give it as value 9, 10. So it will be different. We can understand, isn't it? Then again it will be different. Let me run this again. So that X will be there in effect. What is our X? And after inserting, what is the value, right? What happened? Numpy dot insert 9 and 10, right? And we dot insert. We have changed the way it was. Before that, it was not like this. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. But it was something different. Probably it was, we could have seen that data. 1, 2, say 3, 4. Was it this? Add 6 or set location. This is a flattened array, isn't it? And p dot array. We have provided the index, isn't it? And then after the value. So what is that? P dot array. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. What happened? Flattened array. Index is out of bounds. We should have that many values. Let us have it as 5. No, that is also not possible. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us give it as 2, right? And 10. Different value is there, so we can understand, isn't it? So at 2, it should insert 10. It should be available to us, isn't it? 0, 1, 2. At 2 number index, it will add this particular value. And whatever are the other values, it will shift. Right? The way we are having for our list. The same thing is for NumPy array also. Now we want to have the append. So for that, we are having the append. What was our array? X was there. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have appended what? 1, 2, 300, 200, 300. We have appended these values. So they are being appended to this particular array. Okay. Then we can use the numpy.delete. Let us see the example. Numpy.array is this. What we do is np.delete a and 1. Let's see that. What we have deleted is 1. So what is being removed? This first one is being removed, and then after you can say that what is remaining. Which one is being removed? One is being removed. Index one is right. So that is being removed, and we are able to have this. That's all for today. This is very important, but we'll see in the next class.